Great to have your company on Fox Sports around Australia, and a very warm welcome to one of the great traditional rugby league venues. I refer to Leichhardt Oval in superb weather conditions. It's preliminary finals day today. There are grand final berths up for grabs, and our principal television match features the minor premiers and 3 times and defending champion Canterbury facing the Newtown Jets. There's another match in progress today too, featuring the Balmain Right Eastwood Tigers and Newcastle. The winner of that will of course advance to meet the winner of Newtown and Canterbury, and we'll show you some highlights of that at the back end of our coverage today. Now a check of what's been happening in finals football thus far. In week 1 of the semis, it was Newtown too good for Illawarra 36-30. Canterbury meantime defeating Wentworthville 38-34. And then of course last weekend Newtown, that thrilling 32-30 victory in Golden Point extra time over North Sydney. I'm now joined at Leichhardt by Canterbury coach Barry Ward. Both times you've met Newtown this season, you've been victorious, so you're entitled to be confident given the sort of year you've had once again.
Yeah, absolutely. We have played really well against them both times, so it obviously gives us confidence. But them games are gone now, so it's a whole new series. And Newtown are playing well. They're building confidence each week, and they're not going to die wondering. They've
got a massive pack of forwards.
Yeah, the day will suit us today actually. So our plan is to keep the ball in play and hold it as long as we can, and starve them of it, and hopefully tire them out.
Preparation's been good.
Yeah, mate, we've trained really well. We've been switched on. We've enjoyed the week off. The last 2 field sessions have been really good. So the boys are really confident.
How are you enjoying the coaching, Caver?
Oh, it's good, mate. It's really good, and it's a good. I enjoy coaching the Premier League. It's really good working with Desi and that, and it's great.
Good on you, mate. Best of luck today.
Thanks very much, mate.
Barry Ward, the man at the helm of the Canterbury Bulldogs. They're entitled to start favourite today against the Newtown Jets. There's no doubt about that. In a moment, I'll be joined by Andrew Ryan, talking of former very good Bulldogs, and also Peter Mulholland. We'll also check out the team sheets, but ahead of that, here's a word from the 2 skippers.
Trent, you had the week off last week as a result of your position come finals time. What did you get up to?
Not much new. We had the weekend off, freshened up a bit. Pretty much the same week.
What's been the emphasis of training?
We know Newtown have a big, strong team. We've got ball control's our major worry. If we keep the ball in play, keep those big blokes running around, we're pretty confident.
Where do you plan to attack them?
All over the park, I think. We've identified some opportunities, both out wide, up the middle. It's all on our shoulders now. We hold the ball, we win.
They seem to be really dominating late in games and coming from behind. How do you address that as a team?
Yeah, well, we've got to turn that around. Our last semi-final, we were very ordinary in the last 20-30 minutes. Mate, it's hard to say. We just try and hold on.
Daniel, you seem to be leaving it to the last minute lately. Is that something you've addressed at training?
Yeah, I mean, we it's been good for the fans and stuff to watch us, but it's not exactly good for the players or the coach. We want to be in it a bit early, but in saying that, it's been a positive thing that we've been able to come back from a bit of a deficit late, and we know we've got it in us. So we'll be trying our best not to do that today, but if we have to, I'll take it.
What have you been working on?
Just completion and working as a team, knowing what everyone's doing basically. I mean, we've got quite a few players that are back from injury or NRL, so we haven't been playing together, I guess, very long. So we'll be trying to gel together and really help each other out today as much as we can.
The Bulldogs are the benchmark for the New South Wales Cup, it's fair to say. Where do you think you've got to attack them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not really weak. We'll just have to be on our best. We got really good forwards, and we don't play well unless our forwards go forward. So I mean, that's definitely a big thing for us to get that bit of momentum. And I think we've got some players that are really good with momentum. So we'll hopefully they'll get us a quick play of the ball so we can play off that.
Good luck and all the best. I'm sure the 150,000 Newtown fans here will enjoy it.
That's it. They will.
Oh yeah, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there from Fraser, but nonetheless, the point is well and truly made. Lots of Newtown fans here to cheer their beloved Jets on, hopefully to the grand final from their perspective, but it's a tough assignment today against the minor premiers, Peter Mulholland.
Yeah, it is a tough assignment. Geez, they're taking some good momentum into this game, Newtown, and they'll have to be at their best to beat Canterbury this afternoon. I just think their bench just looks too strong to me for the Canterbury side this afternoon. I think that's, if Newtown are going to win this match, it'll come from the bench.
I've got to say, I like Newtown. And your thoughts on today's clash, Andrew Ryan?
Yeah, look, we've seen Newtown in the last few weeks. Their forward pack has been outstanding. So for Canterbury to win this game today, they need to stop the momentum of their front rowers in particular. And I can't wait for the clash of the forwards.
Matt Nguyen, referee for today's game. Beautiful conditions, a fairly strong southeasterly breeze. There's the Canterbury team sheet. Cutler, Lowe, Lane, McDougall, Goodwin, Foster, Romello, Brown, Pumapi, then Tapau, Gavay, Halatau, Alalatoa. The bench is impressive, particularly the experience of the likes of Majali and Lailai. Now Newtown, Alofa, Tupou, Tungavay, Vautu, Kane, Henry Mortimer, Masoi, Kara, Alame, who's been terrific the last month, Boston, Barrett, Elaz. And that is a mighty impressive bench. Seluini, Pern, Cherrington and Hoomer, they'll all do their job. Coached by Greg Madison. Pete, Seluini was outstanding last week as we look at the head-to-head, which I alluded to with Barry Ward in our pre-match interview. Canterbury have been dominant over Newtown, but Madison must have been very tempted to start with Seluini.
Yeah, but I think too, in conditions like this as well, David, it's an opportunity for him to come on and cut them apart, and yeah, he is one to certainly be watching.
So the Jets to defend the southern end of Leichhardt Oval. Massive prize up for grabs today, a berth in the 2012 VB New South Wales Cup Grand Final. And we're underway in front of an excellent crowd, I reckon in excess of 6,000 people here today. And the first hit up taken by Tapau. Now from Pumapi, away to Dean Halatau. Halatau will play on the right edge today for Canterbury. Tackled by Kurt Kara. And Elaz the lock forward for Newtown. Now Alalatoa got the ball away and now in possession for the Canterbury side. In jumper 11, it's James Gavay. Now the forwards will test each other early, as is the case in all big games. Cutler getting McDougall away down the short side. Looked dangerous there. Left-handed offload that didn't find the mark. It was Romello that put it down. And Newtown come up with possession fairly early in this game.
Yeah, didn't get to the end of their set of six. Not a great start there from Canterbury. They looked to shift the ball early, Andrew.
Yeah, I think Barry Ward would be slightly disappointed with that. It was great footwork there from McDougall, but I think the best option would probably be just to go down, play the ball quicker, and then they play off the back of it. But Newtown get an early opportunity in Bulldogs' half.
This match today featuring an absolute host of players that have tasted NRL experience. I think it's like 11 players in Canterbury 17 have played first grade. 9 Newtown Jets have played first grade. So undoubtedly that experience will come to the fore as this game approaches the business end of proceedings. Now it's Elaz, hard and straight into the Canterbury pack to Powell. And the other front row there, Tim Brown making the tackle. Mortimer. They go to the right edge and here is Tungavay looking dangerous, pops the ball back on the inside. It came into a Canterbury arm, and now the Bulldogs come up with possession through Romello, about 8 metres out from their line.
Yeah, a little attack there from the centre Tungavay. McDougall gave him a little bit of room and he took it and was well covered in the end though.
So the Bulldogs carting it up from deep in their own territory through Gavay. Excellent crowd in today, soaking up this glorious spring Sydney sunshine. Say that fast 10 times, Pete. Pumapi put on the ground. Brad Barrett and Kurt Kara. So Kara starting the match for the Jets. Seluini will be injected at about the 20th minute mark. Luke McDougall, he's been in the New South Wales Cup side for the majority of this season. Had a lot of clubs, McDougall. Player that's had a career punctuated by injuries. And now Trent Cutler is going to hoist the Steeden high in the air. So we'll see how Newtown adapts to the high ball. First time of asking. Carney came away with it, but it's been knocked forward according to the referee. It'll be a Canterbury scrum feed.
Yeah, good kick there from Cutler. You can see him get onto this, Andrew. I think it looks like a bit of a spiral there, and he's taken off the boot. And Justin Carney, I think it was, that has come in. He's well positioned for it, Carney. He just probably overread it a little bit, and it was a good challenge there also from, I think it was Gavay. I know it was Dean Halatau.
So Foster feeds the scrum rather, and here's Cutler down the short side from the base of the scrum, looking dangerous. Tackled by Vautu. So the Bulldogs, after 3.5 minutes, play this deep in Newtown territory. Alalatoa, hard and straight, standing his ground there. Josh Alame in defence. So Alalatoa plays it. And to the open side they go from Brown to Romello, and now to Cutler injecting himself. Ball and all tackled by Barrett, but Cutler still got the ball away to McDougall. He's got a good fend on him. At that time Newtown equal to the task, and McDougall plays it a metre in from the eastern touchline. Romello to Powell from really what was a standing start, tries to make the best of it. A wall of Newtown defenders there. Good test for Newtown. Off their own line early in this game, Gavay, he takes them on. Masoi there. Likewise, Brad Barrett. And another. That other man was Elaz. In front of the uprights, it's Brown through the hands with slick work that went to ground. Hallertau couldn't handle it. Here's Carney now for Newtown, turning defence into attack.
Tell you what, if that pass had hit the mark, it would shut the gate, Andrew. That was a great little line that Dean Hallertau was coming through just too early.
Yeah, fantastic play. Tim Brown, he's had a couple of pre-line passes early in this game, and obviously we see week in, week out the first grade playing that type of football, and obviously the New South Wales Cup team are playing very similar.
Tungavay wrestled to ground by Gavay. Another look at that play for VB on the replay.
Yeah, line was good. It was well covered there by Ejaz too. He just made sure he had that covered.
And a scrappy passage of play ensues before Carney picked it up, securing possession for the Jets. But it did look to be nice lead-up work by Canterbury, not netting the required result. Kara, first time he runs out of dummy half. Hummerby grabbed him with Tapau. That is tackle number 5. They'll go to the boot of Daniel Mortimer, who hoists that downfield. Good kick. Plenty of metres on that. Cutler turns, and here comes Newtown. Good kick chase. Mortimer leading the way. And Barrett makes the tackle.
Fantastic set there, Newtown, coming off their own goal line where we saw Canterbury put them under a little bit of pressure on their goal line. Great set, and Mortimer's kick finding ground at the end was fantastic.
Bryson Goodwin down the short side. The Newtown chant going up already. They are the true believers, the Jets fans. And there are thousands of them here. Brown had a good season again. The big number 8. Arguably owns the biggest legs in the New South Wales Cup. Here's to Powell. Canterbury into Newtown territory. Letting the ball sing. It comes out wide. And this is the winger Drury Lowe for Canterbury. And trying desperately to stay in the field of play. Managed to do it. Did really well. Plays it in the shadows on the western side. That's tackle 5. So Canterbury going to run it to Romello. Little grubbing kick in behind Daniel Mortimer. Here's some pressure for Newtown. This is Tapu trying to find his way back into the field of play. Good defence, Canterbury. Great urgency.
Yeah, good attacking set too from Canterbury there. Basically from the other end of the park. And great little kick here from Joel Romello. Just gets in behind Daniel Mortimer. Couldn't get his hands to it, and was probably lucky too that he didn't. Picked up by Tupu, and geez, a good chase on the end of that. Both sides now with a couple of decent, bad ball sets.
Here's Daniel trying to get himself back into the field of play to avoid the line dropout. Canterbury not going to let that happen. So Mortimer. The line dropout. Not the longest kick in the world, 35 metres. Martin Tapau asked to do the duties again, and he's coughed up possession. Bonus for Newtown. And second phase here too, as Adam Henry is tackled. Western side by Brett Lane, and now out of acting half, Francis Vaiutu. Good player. Can certainly punch his way through the defensive line. Mossy Masoi, he's been terrific. I'm sure he'd like to play more minutes though. But very effective when he does run that football. Bosden now tackled for the Jets into Canterbury territory. Tapau is the defender. From Kara to Mortimer, picked it up low and got it away to Brad Barrett off his right hip. Barrett advances the football a further 7 or 8 metres. Let's see what Newtown has here in its attack. Ahmad Elaz. Not a bad run that, about 11 metres. Dean Hallertau making the tackle. Now Mortimer will shoot that down into the northeastern corner, and contesting it there, I think, was Tungavay, or in fact it was Daniel Tupou. And Canterbury now on the attack through Bryson Goodwin. Goodwin is away. Kara in pursuit. Look at Kara, mows him down with a beautiful tackle. Gee, you would have backed Goodwin to get away from the hooker there, but not the case. Great chase by Kurt Kara. Now Cutler at first receiver. A ball onto the chest of Jake Foster. Foster to the line and loses it, as it looked as though he was going to run straight through them. What an incredible passage of play.
Yeah, they hadn't realigned either the defensive line from Newtown with 6s and 7s, and Jake Foster saw that and nearly grabbed the opportunity. I'm just not sure what he did. He's taking the ball into 2 hands, going into the collision, decided to put it back into 1 hand, and bang.
He did everything right in the initial stages. Ball in 2 hands, as you said, Pete. Went right through the line and just just spilled it, unfortunately, and that was a fantastic chase from Carr. I didn't realise he was that quick, actually. He's very towy.
I agree. Masui couldn't get across and make that tackle. Adam Henry missed him clean as well, so all the Canterbury player had to do was hold it, and it's a 4-pointer. 9.5 gone, no score. This is Brad Barrett off his left and straight into the waiting arms there of Tim Brown. So Kara now has his head bandaged. I think he's picked up a knock in that try-saving tackle. Probably wearing a stud, I'd suspect, to the forehead. Down the short side come the Jets, and this is Francis Vaiutu. Halatau stood his ground, assisted by Jake Foster. That's tackle number 5. It'll be up to Daniel Mortimer again. Takes them on, gets around his opposite to Brad Barrett. He also gets the pass away to Tungavay. Now out to the wing of Tupou. He runs out of space, turns the ball back on the inside. Tungavay whips it infield to Mortimer. Some real razzle-dazzle here from the Jets, but they're not going anywhere. They're passing sideways. It comes now to Adam Henry. He's through the 5/8. Got the ball away on the outside. The Jets advancing downfield. A very ordinary kick there to absolutely nobody, and Mossy Masoy's on the chase and picked up by Brett Lane. Well, what about that?
I've never seen. Have you seen a last tackle like that?
What about that passage of play? They were just flicking it out everywhere, and it just kept sticking.
But didn't gain a millimetre.
No, it didn't, but it broke the Canterbury defensive line up, enabled Adam Henry to come on this left side, and what a kick at the end of it.
Oh, and on a hot day like this, that takes a lot of juice out of your defensive line, and you can see that with Canterbury there.
Here's Gavay, the big striding back rower. No way through there. Barrett will be a fair test for Gavay today over on that side of the field. He doesn't shirk his job. Brad Barrett, that's the halfway line. Still no score here after 11 and a quarter minutes. We've seen a couple of clean breaks, but nothing has eventuated. And speaking of nothing eventuating, a poor kick out on the full. Newtown will say thank you very much, turnover.
There's been a sloppy start from Canterbury. Just their final touches have just not been great, have they, Andrew?
No, they've definitely made some inroads whenever they've had the ball, but just crucial errors, obviously kicking out on the full and Jake Foster knocking it on there. Martin Tupou off his hit up earlier. Just some uncharacteristic errors at this stage.
Here's Elaz playing it back to Kara. Now Josh Alamay. And a 12-metre run. Tackled by Alalatoa and Halatau. I reckon conditions here about 24 degrees, very pleasant. As I alluded to earlier, fairly strong breeze from the southeast. And Mortimer, certainly Newtown want to play footy, don't they? And some of Canterbury's one-on-one tackling at the moment, leaving a bit to be desired. Kara bouncing out of the Jake Foster tackle there. Good case in point. So Newtown playing some attractive attacking footy. It comes back to Mortimer. And now to Brad Barrett, to Tungavay. Tungavay a kick through into touch about a metre out from the corner post.
Yeah, he's probably not what he wanted there. I tell you what, they're at 6s and 7s. You're right, Bobcat. Doubling up with these offloads, doubling up with this catch and pass game that they're playing at the moment. It's causing a lot of havoc in the Canterbury defence.
Yeah, they're really making some half breaks out on this right edge through Tungavay. Both sides have actually identified out on that edge. They've been attacking each other's right and left edge respectively out on that side. But Tungavay is really finding some inroads outside of McDougall and inside Bryson Goodwin out there.
Yeah, Tungavay has started the game really well. Just short of the 14th minute mark of this preliminary final. Winner of the grand final at ANZ Stadium next Sunday. Balmain Ride Eastwood winning the other preliminary final over the Newcastle Knights, played ahead of this game today. We'll show you some highlights of that clash once we have full time in this game between the Dogs and the Jets. That's tackle number 5. They'll be looking for Trent Cutler. In fact, they went to Jake Foster, who puts the ball in the air. It was a very poor kick. Down to Tungavay, who tries to beat Luke McDougall. Couldn't do so.
I think that set really shows from Canterbury's point of view that they are lacking, obviously, that kicking option through Jake Foster. They had a bit of a crack out on play 5 out here on this right edge, and Dean Halatau made a nice little run, but to come out to this side, you need to have a kicker there as well. And Romello is parked on the other side of the field, and Foster was pretty much the only option there, and it was a pretty poor end of the set.
Okay, Seluini on. Well explained. Former Bulldogs skipper Andrew Ryan Seluini into the action now in 9. His leg speed is phenomenal. And not really surprising that Madison would inject him fairly early in this game. It's hot. And some of the Bulldogs forwards look like they're doing it a bit tough. Ball in the air. Carney's in pursuit. Well taken, Canterbury. The Bulldogs breathing a sigh of relief there. Good job by Drury Lowe, who was not low, he was high in taking that.
Yeah, they'll have to be on their game here now when the Jets have got the football. Canterbury, he cut the side to pieces last week. North Sydney did Seluini. It's just going to be amazing 15 or 20 minutes before half-time that he's in.
Okay, so McDougall does well there. Draws 2 defenders. Got it away to Gavay. Lomelo at acting half. So Canterbury trying to get beyond their own 40-metre line. And a good carry by Tim Brown on tackle number 5. They'll look now for the clearing kick from the right foot of the veteran. Cutler drills that into touch, eastern side. A good settling kick, and that was a 40-20. So it's better than a good kick.
Yeah, that's a great kick from Trent Cutler, and it's going to give his forwards a little bit of a break too. They'll just take their time getting to this scrum, and magnificent kick, just dropped beautifully for him. And I think it's just what the doctor ordered for Canterbury at this stage.
They've been looking at 6s and 7s, haven't they? Yeah. Just the speed that Newtown is doing everything at. So a chance now, McDougall towards the try line. A metre out, Bulldogs on the attack. It comes back to Gavay, and Seluini roughs him up a bit. Ball comes out, and it's lost cold as the ruling. Newtown will get the pill.
Yeah, he's come off the line quickly, Seluini, but he's read the pass to Gavay. Yeah, he should have hung on to that football. Jeez, that takes some pressure off.
Whatever. Newtown are about to face a massive test. So still no score after 18 minutes of play. Penny Tungavay has proved a real handful over on the other side of the field. Here's Carney. You think a player of his experience would be looking to get the footy in his hands as much as possible today. Here's Bosden, and heavy defence on Bosden. Pumapi roughs him up along with Hallertau. Andrew Pern on the field now. Been rock solid for Newtown, hasn't he, Andrew? Andrew Pern?
Yeah, he's been outstanding. You've seen a lot of him in our coverage this year, and you know, he's just one of those reliable guys. Comes out, does his job. Whether or not he starts or off the bench in the front row or the back row, he comes out and he's just a goer. He just goes hard all day.
Saw an example of the threat that Seluini can pose to the defensive line there. The ruck prior, he looked really dangerous. Mortimer hoists that downfield straight into Drury Lowe's arms. And Lowe is dropped by 2 Jets as he returned the football, got to the 30-metre line. Cutler in his early 30s. Pete, you were saying before he came on air, he debuted in first grade as what, a 17-year-old?
Yeah, he's only a youngster, and you know, he's played a few different slots in first grade too. Cuts fancies himself as a half 5'8", but I think he does a marvellous job on the wing, fullback too in NRL, doesn't he?
Yeah, look, I was lucky enough to play alongside Trent for quite some time, and he was on the wing for us there back there quite a few years ago.
Here's a chance for Drury Lowe down the western touchline. He's got support. And speaking of the man, Trent Cutler bobs up on his inside. Try time for the skipper. Beneath the uprights, in fact, under the black dot. And Cutler gets try number 13 for the season.
I think he does all right backing up as a fullback too, actually. He did very well there. Fantastic play by Drury Lowe. Cutler started it as well, jumping out of dummy half. Nice ball from Jake Foster and great hands from Lane. Drury Lowe down the sideline here. Fantastic speed. He comes to a loafer, throws the dummy first and did really well. Cutler on the inside. Fantastic try to the Bulldogs.
He had to do a bit of work to draw that fullback then too, didn't he? He made sure that he got him. He threw the little dummy and fullback kept coming at him, a loafer, but good support. Jake Foster and Brett Lane did very, very well on the inside too.
So the attempted conversion now from Bryson Goodwin. For Canterbury, Trent Cutler has been doing most of the goal kicking for the Bulldogs this year. Perhaps he was out of steam and he asked Bryson to take the kick. So the Bulldogs 6-0 leaders after 21.5 minutes. Canterbury have been dominant in the New South Wales Cup over the past few seasons, winning successive titles. 3 on the trot. Newtown will have other ideas today, though. And this is Ray Majali, who in fact used to play for Newtown. He's been good for Canterbury in season 2012. Here's Brett Lane, a former Balmain Tiger. He'll play it back to Pumapy. And they now charge downfield with the very experienced Dean Hallertau. So the Dogs through Alala trying to get beyond the halfway line. Does so successfully. That's good metres by the Bulldogs. Little tip on that advance the footy. Another 10 metres. Mistake by Jake Finn in the play of the ball. And that is tragic after what was a great run. So Newtown, a little bit of luck here at the moment.
Yeah, just lost control of it. Jake Finn on the way to the ground.
Terrible play of the ball.
Yeah.
There wasn't even really a marker in his face.
Just trying to get up too quick. That's what his problem was.
A little bit of nerves. First touch in a big game. Perhaps. Anthony Cherrington for Newtown. That was forward to Siluini. How did they not see that? That was dead set half a metre forward. Newtown through their hooker. Quick play the ball. The Jets. Now it's Jack Bosden. And taken a little high by Pumapy, perhaps. Maybe a caution on the run. Siluini. Dummy. Gee, he gives them some options out of there, doesn't he? Tangavea passed to no one. Tupou tried to make the best of the situation. So an early mistake by Newtown in that set sees Canterbury breathing a sigh.
Both sides sloppy on their final execution, and this again is just it was a no-look pass, I think, from... Yeah, it was. Dead set no-look pass there from Penny Tangavea. Good pressure from Bryson Goodwin, but God, you've got to complete those things, especially what you're in the one game before a grand final.
Yeah, look, and I'm sure the coaches in the lead-up would have been just speaking about being patient, get through our sets, get to the kick. It's a hot day, and we saw the captain speak about it in the pre-game as well. Control the footy, get to our sets, take some juice out of the opposition, and really both teams haven't done that at this stage yet.
Another danger man on it, you just mentioned a minute ago, David, is Anthony Cherrington. He'll get those offloads going, and with Siluini around him, it's going to pose a problem for Canterbury.
Alala up, running, and crosses the halfway line. The Laz made the tackle with Boston. Now the 16 is Lai of Cozzy. And that's tackle number 5. So Canterbury in a good attacking position here. A kick through, not played at. And it is still the 5th tackle, therefore. Majali puts the ball in the air. There's a chase on the end of it too with Drury low. The Jets can't handle. And some Canterbury fans appealing for an opportunity.
Nice little kick from Majali after the one bounce back here from Cutler. Kosi Lele got the ball away to him and he just summed it up. Nice little cross kick.
It was a great little drop onto the toes,
Nice, wasn't it?
I think he's played a bit of Aussie rules at the old Henson Park in his days at Newtown, I'd say, by the look of that kick. And I'll tell you what, he gave Drury Lowe every opportunity to get under that ball.
Brett Lane making a contest out of it. Landed the ball down, but it was to no avail. Big Salala Homer in 17 on the field now for Newtown. Has been arguably one of their best strike forwards the second half of this season. Scored a match-winning try a couple of weeks ago to keep their finals campaign alive. As we look at the VB replay here, is Siluina going forward and the ball coming out. It was ruled a strip, so the Jets on the attack now through Big Homer. He's a massive human being. Now this is Adam Henry trying to kick-start them. Has played a bit of footy in the centres this year. He's been at 5'8" the last couple of weeks. Homer touching the ball yet again. And danger here for the Canterbury side, leading 6 points to 0. The Jets would like to respond. Mortimer tries to do it all on his own. We've seen him doing a bit of that with success of late. Siluini, and he's actually hurt Daniel Mortimer in his attempt to dive over from dummy half.
Yeah, that looked ugly too. He's come right back into him. You can see it here now. Yeah, into the back of his knees.
Gee. Mortimer's been folded back. His left leg, his lower back, even his head copped it.
He's a tough rooster.
Yeah, he is. He's up. That's a good sign. He's sort of shaking it off. So
it's Al Mortimer, Louis Mortimer, Peter Mortimer blood.
Absolutely. So Seluini will be told to play it on tackle number 4. Here's Boston, Henry, Cherrington, had Vaiutu there, took the tackle. So, oh no, Cherrington makes a meal of that as he attempts to play it. I don't mean to be critical of Anthony because he's a terrific player, but he does have those little errors in his game.
He does, and he needs to get them out to play regular NRL, but he's a handful for sure. Both sides, though, are guilty of it, Andrew. It's just that's just a plain unforced error.
yeah, it is, and you know they're in a great spot here, Newtown, and for him to just get up, play that. Hopefully Mortimer puts in a nice little kick for a repeat set, and they just haven't built any pressure either team here today.
James Gavay. Should mention too at this juncture in the Bundy Red Cup Grand Final played yesterday at St Mary's. Wentworthville defeating the minor premiers, the Entrance Tigers. You'll see full coverage of that on Fox Sports tomorrow on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. A lunchtime feast of the Bundy Red Cup Grand Final, and wasn't a bad game of football, as you'll see if you tune in. This is Jake Finn now for Canterbury. Plays it back to Lai. Romello drives that down towards the corner, skids into the arms of Tupou.
Yeah, really, that was a nothing kick from Joel, and I think you alluded to it earlier, Andrew. Their kicking game's not been great. With the exception of Trent Cutler's 40-20, it's been a little bit less than ordinary.
Yeah, now I think we've seen a bit of a change here with Pamipi going off, and Kozilele seems to be filling in there at hooker, so I'm not sure whether him and Joel Romello will sort of change around that role a bit, but I'm not sure. Yeah, their kicking options have been a bit ordinary so far.
So now the Jets make it just into Canterbury territory. Ala Latoa making the tackle on Boston. 6-0, the Bulldogs lead after almost half an hour. Justin Carney, he thought he saw a gap, put the head down, sprinted. It closed quickly. Henry down the short side now with Vaiutu. Really a nothing kick, it's got to be said. Cutler said thank you very much. Brings it back, tackled by Vaiutu and Daniel Mortimer. But the kicking game has been the weak link for both sides so far in this game. Brett Lane tackled strongly by Boston.
You know, I'd never tell him how to run his side, Barry Ward, but I'd be looking to get Cutler back into a half-back 5'8" role, Andrew, just to get him with more hands on the football.
Yeah, he's obviously a very experienced player. He's been involved in their campaigns the last few years, so just his relaxed nature had really settled the team down, I think.
Romelu kicks that down, taken by a loafer. Had a fair game against the Bears last weekend in the Jets' miraculous victory. They trailed 24-6 against the Bears. And North Sydney found a way to lose. Full credit to the Jets, the way they stuck to their guns. Tupou upended there in spectacular defence, and what a mess that is. And Newtown fortuitously getting a penalty. There's a bit of complacency there, nonetheless. Have a look at that.
Yeah, he had his foot caught up in those two players, still in the ruck, and James Gavay's just come through.
Barrett wasn't really watching, though.
No.
At acting half. He was directing
the referee,
whoever was about to take the ball. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's get on with it. Tungavay told to go back half a metre and play it. Here's Andrew Pern for the Jets. Newtown, they need a try. Great crowd in today at Leichhardt Oval. Another double header in VB New South Wales Cup Finals footy. Andrew Pern, tackled by Majali. Another player down low, that was Jake Finn. Here's Seluini out of acting half. Geez, got some pace. It was anticipated nicely by Gavay, who made the tackle rather. Boston has to reach up high to rein that in. Now it's Adam Henry out to Anthony Cherrington, who was really a standing start for him. Second phase, back now to Daniel Mortimer. They go to the centre with Big Homer, and Homer well tackled there by James Gavay and Ray Majali. Henry snaps that pass to a loafer. Here they come, the Jets. Vaiutu looking dangerous. That's the last tackle. Well done, Canterbury.
Yeah, that's great defence from Canterbury on their own line there. Stretched both sides of the park and did very, very well there. Brett Lane and the little winger Drury Lowe.
So here's Canterbury with Josh Gill Tackled by Bosden. Alatoa is the next man carrying the football and loses it cold as he gets to his feet. And the referee says he was interfered with. Penalty to the Bulldogs. Like to see that again.
What do you think of this one, Bob? Can have a look at it.
Yeah, he definitely had his hand on there, but, you know, I don't think he stripped it out, but I think he sort of had his hand on it and he was looking at the referee and...
He's maybe pulled the arm away, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Penalty deserved, you believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Now
Gills made a mistake.
There's the square up. Yep.
The ball has come out and Nguyen wasting no time in making the call. Josh Gill advancing the football, and that camera angle not really showing us. It's come out beneath the player's torso. So here come the Jets. As a result of the loosened feed, Vaiutu takes them on the western, or in the western corridor of Leichhardt Oval. Homer, big run by the man wearing 17. Has proven to be a huge handful for opposing teams in season 2012. Bosden, short ball away to Andrew Pern. Newtown looking pretty good here. Seluini, and now the pass away to Bosden, who crashes over underneath the uprights. 6 points to 4, kick to come, and the conversion is an absolute sitter. Will be tied up at 6-all.
Speed of the play, the ball got Canterbury there. They just didn't reset on that. Markers weren't at 6s and 7s, and you can see it here now. Harlan Alatoa still getting back on side, and great footwork there from Boston.
Yeah, Jake Finn, I think, chased out pretty hard there from Marker, but we've seen in previous weeks Newtown really good at changing the angles around on opposition's line, and Mossy Masoi scored a couple of tries there. I think it was last week or the week before, doing the same thing as Mortimer adds the extras for Newtown, 6-all.
About 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Jets fans rejoicing.
Yeah, I don't think either coach is going to be happy with their completion rates. It's just not down on, or not what it should be for sides that are going into the grand finals.
As we watch Andrew Pern prepare to play it, quite seriously, nothing at all against Canterbury, but would it be a fairy tale grand final? Two foundation clubs, Newtown and Balmain, who are already there. What a way to finish the season. What a script. Seluini, he's straight through. He's got Carney in support. Carney's got it now. See you later, boys. And the left winger scorches the turf at Leichhardt. Try time. The Jets, their second try in 2 minutes. What about that? Their fans are on their feet, and have a look. They're dancing in the grandstand.
Yeah, this is Naif Seluini. 5 minutes before half-time, he gets out of dummy half and just creates havoc, and Canterbury never picked up on it from there.
Yeah, again, we saw one marker down, and I'm sure Canterbury would have been speaking all week about getting their two markers in play with Seluini. His speed out of dummy half is unbelievable, and he skipped outside the C or D defender there. Fantastic footwork. Drew to the fullback, and Carney was on the inside. Cutler did his best to try and chase him down, as did Gavay, but too much speed.
There's a handful, Seluini, and Mortimer could take them in now 12-6, which is probably an indication of where the game is. I think Newtown have probably been that little bit better with the ball in their hand, Andrew.
Yeah, look, I think they have. They've definitely created some opportunities. Obviously, both sides have made some really poor errors, as we see Mortimer add the extras there, but both sides have been quite poor in their ball position in this first 38 minutes.
Gee, the crowd has come alive here now. They've found their voice, the Jets faithful. 12 points to 6. 2.5 minutes remaining in this first half. The preliminary final. Who will it be that joins Balmain right Eastwood in the 2012 VB New South Wales Cup decider? Would be an absolute fairy tale if it were to be the two foundation clubs facing off. And Seluini, hasn't he made an impact since coming into the match, as we knew he would?
Yeah, I just think their bench is a little bit better than Canterbury's. Hoomer's been great as well. Andrew Pern, go forward. Hoomer, go forward. Cherrington with a little bit of flair, and you've got this kid that'll just cut any side to pieces.
Another good effort by Pern there, wasn't it? Oh, here we are again. Seluini! He is causing absolute massive migraines for Canterbury. A loafer, he's still going, and bats that back to nobody. Oh, what a pity. It was attractive footy. It is play on as Big Tupou, the right winger, now creates havoc up the centre. Looks to get it away and does too. Newtown are on fire. Here they go through Henry. There's no stopping the Jets. What about this at Leichhardt? Third try in 4 minutes, and have a look at them. Yeehaw!
Yeah, they're gone. They're absolutely gone, the Jets fans, and that's good football. That's great football once again from Seluini. Good support play. Plenty of players pushing up with him here. You can see Jack Bosden on his outside here. Takes a flea off his back. Good work there from Harlan Alatoa. Just good grip strength there to pull him down. Great support from Alofa. And again, shifts the focal point here. Joel Romiley just beaten by Alofa. Good little flick out here, Andrew. Oh, look at that. Bats it back out. Tungavay goes down. I thought it was all finished there.
Yeah, he kept the ball alive here, Tungavay. Tupu picks it up, and at this stage, the Canterbury defence were all over the place. Offset, Jake Finn and a few of these guys have slipped over 3 or 4 times in the last few minutes.
Well, it happened in the previous game too. Like, I don't know, the grass, they reckon it's been watered pretty heavily. And what about Tupou then? Off to Adam Henry. Have a look at the feet here. He had to Harlan Alatoa going the wrong way and just had to find his way to the line. And that's a great try to Newtown, right on the stroke of half-time.
It looked like it had broken down, didn't it? Tungavay was trying to get hold of the footy. Found Tupou, who got up ahead of steam. Linked up with Henry. And that's the angle that Mortimer is working from. He'll make it 18-6. What an incredible change has come over this game. The Bulldogs were leading 6-0 at the 35th minute mark. Have a look at it now and have a listen to the Jets fans. They are loving it. 18-6. Boston, Carney, Henry. Mortimer 3 from 3. Cutler the try scorer for Canterbury. It was a good try too. And Goodwin 1 from 1. Well, what about it here? 18 points to 6. They're playing for a spot in the grand final to face Balmain, Ryde, Eastwood. Don't leave your television sets. We'll take a break at Leichhardt and come back with the second half in a moment.
Newtown is coming. Hear the bootlegs humming. Newtown.
Jets flying. Premiership RSL has been part of the local inner west community at this location since the early 70s, and we've been proud sponsors as well of the Newtown Jets for over 20 years. The future's bright for Premiership RSL as we move from this building to new premises across the road that will provide a wider range of services and facilities for our membership. Our aim is to be the boutique venue of the Inner West.
Keep the Jets flying!
We're on board to keep the Jets flying.
Petersham RSL have been serving the Inner West community for over 90 years and have been proud sponsors of the Newtown Rugby League Football Club for over 20. Be sure to support those who support the Jets.
Thanks for being with us on Fox Sports here at Leichhardt Oval. The Jets leading 18-6 at the break. This was the first try of the game to Trent Cutler.
Yeah, great work there from Drury Lane. Took 20 minutes though for the Dogs to get on top and score that try. Cutler started it and finished it, Andrew Ryan.
Yeah, nice little play here. Seluini jumping out of dummy half, and Boston scores under the sticks, and Seluini just turned it on in the last 15 minutes. Fantastic speed. Carney on the spot as he always is. Great speed. Cutler did his best as well to try and to pull him back there, but went to 12-6, and here we see the man again carving them up through the middle. Great support from Alofa. Nice little bat back out the back here. Tupu, after Tungave shields the ball here, Tupu jumps onto the ball, susses it out up the middle. Nice little offload from him. I think Henry jumps onto the ball here and he just hits the gas through a big hole there. Alatoa slips over and try. 18-6 to Newtown.
All right, so the players making their way back on the field. If you've just joined our coverage, I need to reiterate that Balmain Right Eastwood defeated the Newcastle Knights in the other preliminary final, staged here earlier today. They've booked a spot in the VB New South Wales Cup Grand Final next weekend. So the match you're watching now, Newtown and Canterbury.
I think they've got it all to do, Canterbury, David, at this stage. Barry Ward's not going to be a happy camper, and I'm quite sure he would have let them know what needs to be done this half. But I've just been down there, I must say, at half-time, and that ground's been pretty heavily watered. And I think I watched Wes Nguama in our game, Newcastle's game, slip over 3 times kicking the ball off. And it's been a pretty heavy watering out there, I think.
Yeah, I've seen 5 or 6 of the guys slip over 2 or 3 times, and you could just see Seluini just came alive in the back end of that half, and I'm sure Barry Ward would have, the first things first, said, mark a play and 8 defenders, we just need to fix that up and the rest will take care of itself. But that's where they're really costing themselves some trouble here, the Bulldogs side.
You're right about the surface, though. I went down, obviously, to pre-record the opener to the program at the northwestern corner of the field, and my shoes were caked in mud just walking down the sideline.
Yeah.
You might clean them for me, Pete, any time you get a second, actually.
Yeah, tippy.
Here's Anthony Cherrington. Fat chance of that, eh? Don't clean your own shoes. Cherrington plays it back to Seluini.
That's why I've got a 14-year-old son.
The Newtown number 9 has been the difference in this game. The last 15 minutes has been an absolute live wire. Out of acting half, here's Boston. He's done his job beautifully today too. The Newtown number 11, that's the halfway line. He was tackled by Gavay. Seluini away to Andrew Pern, who's had a terrific game. Pern, they're away again. It's Adam Henry. He's sprinting for the corner. There's no stopping him. What is going on here? Newtown 4 tries in the last 6 minutes.
That's a great offload from Andrew Pern, and he's had a big impact in this match since he's come on 15-20 minutes into the first half. But poor edge defence from Canterbury. Good support play though. You've got to give credit where credit's due. He's just got a little bump here. He's just bumped off through Josh Gill there. Jake Foster's come in and it's just given Adam Henry the opportunity to go straight to the line. Lovely bump from Pern though.
Yeah, it was outstanding from Pern, but as you alluded to, Pete, Canterbury just had absolutely no line speed whatsoever. They were on their heels. Pern was just coming out, a nice little footwork, and we speak a lot how hard he runs the ball and straight, but fantastic to see a beautiful offload around the corner there, and Henry, who we saw in the first half with his speed, fantastic support play and scores in the corner.
So Mortimer from just inside the eastern touchline will attempt the extras, plenty of height about it, and unfortunately the direction was lacking. But that is a sensational lead in a preliminary final, 22-6 after 42.5 minutes of play. What has happened to Canterbury?
I think they might be asking themselves that same question. I just, you know.
Take out the halftime break. They were leading 6-0 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
I think, Dave, when you're giving away football, though, and it's a hot afternoon, defence is tired, and then players are tired out there, and they're just acting accordingly.
Canterbury are just falling off tackles, and often markers completely ineffective. Here's Cherrington wrestling with Big Ray Mazzali, and eventually put on the ground, 22-6.
It'll be interesting to see the contribution Mossy Masoi has in this second half. It looked like he was carrying a shoulder injury there at half-time, and Huma played a lot of minutes in that first half and was very impressive off the bench as well. So we'll be looking to see how he goes, Mossy Masoi, when he comes back on the field. And there's that man, Huma.
Yep, big Salala Huma is an absolute weapon. Seluini away now to Daniel Mortimer. Wants to play at the other end and drives that downfield. It won't pull up, just too much on it this time. So Canterbury will come back to the 20 for the restart.
Still not a bad outcome there. They don't have to go back or anything. They'll just line up in front of the Canterbury side. Good defensive set now, and it'll be interesting to see what pressure they can put on Canterbury. Canterbury really need to respond next.
Now Majali straight into the Newtown defence, comprising Boston and Barrett and Homer, I think it was. And the ball has come out, and the referee has penalised Newtown. And the Newtown player's not impressed with that decision. Another look at it. Boston laying there.
Yeah, hands in there.
That's fair enough. So Canterbury, they'd be thinking, what are we going to do here? Gavay, tackled by Barrett. Now in 19, Jake Finn.
They've just got to be patient, get to the other end of the field, complete their set of 6, Andrew, and try and see if they can get a repeat set out of it.
Oh, look, they haven't built any pressure on Newtown at all in this game, and they've made some inroads, as we see here, but again, another error from Canterbury.
Yep, indeed. Foster threw the ball back.
I thought you were ready to jump in there. I thought it might have been a try on Tappy, but he's right, Bobcat. It didn't come to anything, did it? I mean, that's just...
Look, they're doing some nice little plays, and they're hitting the edges and making inroads. Nice little footwork there from Cutler. He gets a great little, a nice little offload there to Jake Foster, but...
Yeah, just the execution, isn't it? Yep.
Brett Lane couldn't handle, went without it.
I tell you what, Cutler's playing well. Cutler's on top of his game, and I don't think there's many going with him.
Yeah, that's fair comment, Peter. He'll be doing everything he can to lift his side. Cutler, the most experienced player on the field bar none. Barrett, he hasn't been a slouch today either. The Newtown 12 did some good things in the first half with the ball and in defence. Andrew Pern's been great. That was a nice tackle by Josh Gill, chopped him down. Seljuini, every time he jumps out of there, you can't help but get half excited.
I tell you what, he reads his cues well. He knows when one mark is slacking off, doesn't he, Bobcat?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Peter. It was a nice tackle from Gill, but they still didn't get the 2 markers back and set and going forward.
Homer was away. Now let's have another look at that on the VB replay. It comes to Big Homer after accepting the ball from Boston. Here it is now.
How's that forward?
It was well back. I think he lost possession here.
No,
that was all right.
Oh, ref, you've lost your plot there, ref.
Well, I have no idea
No.
what that ruling was about.
Could have been 6 again.
Josh Gill now takes the tackle of Anthony Cherrington. Plays at centre field. Ray Majali tackled by his opposite number, Andrew Pern, and Carney coming in off the wing to help. Lai away to Tapau, and Tapau in heavy traffic does well, finds Lai again, who puts a fend on Daniel Mortimer twice, but Mortimer comes at him, if you'll pardon the expression, like a bulldog, and drops him. Romolo. Now this is Alalatoa, Barrett and Boston combine in defence. You can see the try line at the top of the screen. Bulldogs on the attack. They need a try for their confidence. They've been blown off the park the last 15. Here's Cutler. Thought he might try and reach out. Player body's got his body in the way. Would have been a low for a loafer. And he's been hurt there too. A very slow play the ball. That's tackle number 5 as it come back to Romolo, and a kick down into the corner, and it's there.
Oh.
It's there for someone, but knocked, I think, in touch in goal. It'll come back to the 20.
Oh, gee, I tell you what, I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, you will.
I thought it might have been.
I thought it was knocked forward by Tupou. Why is that not a knock on?
And then I thought Mortimer knocked it out. But
the ruling obviously is that Tupou touched it and not the Canterbury player coming through.
Yeah, well, I don't think either of them could see it properly. I was going to say that's exactly what the doctor ordered, a repeat set, but that's an unfortunate call against Canterbury there, I think.
The shadows on this western side got in the eyes of the officials. Here's Tungavay, and Tungavay met by Tapau and Ray Majali. Tapau was good early in the game. They need him back out there. Barry Ward concurs. Here's Homer. Geez, a hard bloke to tackle, isn't he? Seljuini. Boston has really lifted a cog today, hasn't he? He's been very solid the last month, but today, different proposition, whole new level, I reckon, for the Newtown 11. Just doing everything so quickly, Andrew, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he's been in everything, hasn't he? He's an aggressive player, and he's scored a try. Obviously, scored their first try of the game too. He's certainly up for it today.
Just got a massive sense of urgency about him today. Goodwin on his knees, got the pass back to Tapau. And Tapau trying to create something. Knocked over there by Seluini, and Barrett plays it back to Romolo. And this is Big Ala Latoa, just short of the halfway line. He carries the football. Now Lai fires the ball to Tim Brown. And Tim Brown taking on the Newtown forwards, who are equal to the task. The game has been in progress for 50 minutes. The Jets leading 22-6. Lai slips over. Back to Brown. He doesn't want it. Romolo, he's in not 2 minds, 3 minds. Now he takes off and has a go, and he found the fullback Cutler. So Canterbury doing something positive here, advancing the football downfield. They're 10 metres out from the Newtown line. This is Foster, who loses the ball, and a loafer falls on it for Newtown.
Yeah, that's just, once again, sheer, just terrible football at the end of it. You can't do that. You cannot not hold on to the football at 22-6 and expect to put any pressure on the team.
Oh, they had some numbers out in that right edge too, and I don't know if Jake just had a couple of things on his mind there, but it could have gone through the hands, I thought, but unfortunately he just made an error again at a crucial time.
Yeah, with all due respect, Jake Foster is a great edge back rower who started as a 5'8". I honestly believe they need to get Cutler into the halves, somehow put Bryson Goodwin back to fullback, shuffle themselves around a little bit, but they need some consistency in the halves, mate.
Yeah, Jake Foster's an outstanding edge back rower, and he runs a great line. He's got some good skill with pre-line pass as well, but I'm not sure whether he's obviously feeling it's a fair bit of pressure for him in this position in a big game. So
Mossy Masoi had a left arm in the face from
I tell you what, Bobcat's probably right. I reckon he's carrying a shoulder. He grimaced then when he came across, didn't he? I know he got a bit of a hit in the chops, but
yeah, he certainly looked like he was carrying it there at half time.
Andrew Poon, what a game he's having. The Newtown interchange forward, pardon me. Adam Henry, a ball out the back to nobody, and falling on an Anthony Cherrington. Canterbury had the week off last week, and based on, they just seem to be rusty, don't they?
Hey, I tell you what,
it's a silly thing to say at this time of the season, but they look like they've had a week off.
Yeah.
Seluini racing up as he forced an error there on Drury Lowe. It went back according to the referee.
Won't it be amazing if Newtown win this and go through the grand final, 7v8.
I know, extraordinary. You couldn't script it, Pete.
No.
To Powell. Newtown up in their faces. Masoi leading the way on that occasion. The Jets are well in control of this game. After almost 52 minutes, Brown out of Acne half, trying to do it on his own. Downfield he strides. Vaiutu was there to meet him. They continue to attack Newtown's left edge, this time through Brett Lane, who threw the ball into touch. They're dreadful, Canterbury, at the moment. There's no other way of saying it. Where's Barry Ward?
This sums up their day, I think, here. Lane, nice little footwork it was on Cherrington. Showed him up, all ends up, and he actually threw Carney in there.
That's just execution.
Yeah, it is execution. I don't know if Carney, I thought he might have got a hand to it. It doesn't look that way, but just those finer little touches that they've let themselves down today, and it's cost them big time.
When I say where's Barry Ward, I was alluding to the fact he's probably in the queue at the bar. He'd need a drink watching this, the coach.
He wouldn't be too happy, big bustling Barry Ward.
Boston, hard and straight up the centre, ran over the top of Tapau, but Timmy Brown made the tackle. Here's Mortimer. Now, Elaz, tackled by Gavay and Josh Gill. Centre field, the Jets trying to work some more magic. It comes back now to Josh Alamay. Arcing like run across the park. Now straightens. Didn't gain too many metres in that run. That's the fifth and last. Where's Daniel Mortimer? In fact, they go the other side to Adam Henry, who puts that in the air. There's plenty of Newtown jumpers there to contest it. But well taken over there for Canterbury by Drury Lowe. So they come from the deep, Canterbury, 15 metres out from their own line. This is Dean Hallertau, who's back into the action after having a spell. His experience will be invaluable as they search for answers, the Dogs. Open side play. They're playing very laterally at the moment, Canterbury. McDougall hammered. Ball out. Look out. Mortimer's got it for Newtown. They're on the attack again. Now it's Daniel Tupou. He can be a weapon, as we know. Plenty of Bulldogs there scrambling. all the Newtown fans here, they stood up when Mortimer jumped on it. Here they come again, Josh Alamay at the Canterbury defence, and he'll play it 10 metres out from the Bulldogs line. I'll tell you what, another try here, and Canterbury facing a task that'll be too difficult, I reckon. It comes out to a loafer, there's a knock on there.
Just need to be a little bit more patient there, Adam Henry. I think going to ground there, that pass that he threw, I think it was a bit of a speculator. You know, he was on the way to the ground, and they had tackle, I think it was only tackle 1 or tackle 2 at this stage. They had plenty of time for it. Wasn't passing to a man in a better position, and a bit of bad luck there, but I'll tell you what, it was a let-off for Canterbury.
Andrew, there was no stopping Jack Boston there. He was screaming through in support. Ran into a yawning gap, just couldn't get the ball. Here's another turnover of possession. Mortimer to Alamay. If Newtown score here, it'll be an unassailable lead. The way Canterbury are playing, there's no way.
Newtown don't have to score. The way Canterbury are playing, they won't score another try.
Elas, who's solid today as always. Ball and all tackled by Dean Hallertau. Seluini. Dummy to Masui, went the other way to Boston, and this is of course Carney coming in off the left flank, tackled by Jake Foster and Timmy Brown. Open side, Elas, a dummy, tucks it under his wing and takes them on. Pumapi got him, along with Josh Gill. That is tackle number 4. Again, Masui runs the decoy. It comes to Alamay instead. He was felled by Gill around the legs. That is tackle number 5. It comes to Daniel Mortimer. What will the tactic be? Down towards the corner he goes. Oh, Tupou's got it! What about that? Daniel Tupou has come down with it and effortlessly plants it on the turf. He made it look so easy.
Yeah, I tell you what, the kick on that started it was absolutely magic from Daniel Mortimer. He's had a tremendous game today. Tupou's dangerous wherever he does with the football, whether it's in the air, whether it's on the ground, and this is just too big there, had too much momentum for Bryson Goodwin, and a great try to Tupou.
Yeah, he went up to actually bat it back, and it ended up falling into his arms over the line. So, but as you said, great kick right on the spot from Mortimer, and Tupou just flying through the air.
He was a bit cruisy about it, Daniel, wasn't he? He thought, I've still got it, I'll put it down.
I think he's the sort of bloke he is.
Mortimer, the kick from wide out, a metre away to the left of the uprights, 26 plays 6. Midway through the second half or thereabouts, Newtown on their way to the 2012 Grand Final against Balmain Right Eastwood. Shorty's kick-off. Canterbury speculating. Well, they've got to try something, haven't they?
And they've still got 22 minutes. I mean, Canterbury are capable. With the side they've got, the players on the field, with the names they've got out there, they're capable of scoring those points. 20 points is not unassailable for them, but not the way they're playing.
Agreed.
And we've seen games this year where teams in 20 minutes, they've put on 24, 30 points in 20 minutes. So, you know, it can definitely happen, but they just need to address these errors. And their jagged line in defence have just been all over the shop.
I think that's a culmination.
Here's Masui. Hold the phone, boys. Big Mossy goes for a gallop straight up the centre of the park. Leichhardt Oval. It's rumbling to the sound of the Newtown Jets. And they get a penalty. Well, there you go. An error compounded by another one.
Well, he had to do something, Trent Cutler. It's come to the smallest guy on the park, taking on the biggest guy on the park. Just bustled his way through Josh Gill and Marty Tapau there. And Timmy Brown just thought, we'll let those boys fix the tackle up. Here he is, Trent Cutler, straight around the waist. Did everything right there to bring Masui down. Landed underneath him, which is not a good thing to do. And tried to keep him from getting up, and Masui rolled back on top of him. But that's, again, terrible defence up the middle, Andrew.
It was, I think they just thought they had control of Mossy Masui, and then he just shrugged him off and ran another 20 or 30 metres. And as you said, the smallest man on the field for Canterbury just went straight in around the big man's waist and dragged him down.
So Daniel Mortimer, a penalty shot from right in front. He shouldn't have too many dramas with this one. Flags in the air, 28-6. The Jets flying high on a beautiful spring afternoon in Sydney, extending the lead. Canterbury, another short kick-off. Let's see what happens this time. And leaping high above them, one of the shorter men on the field. Carney does well.
Did very, very well there, Justin Carney, and it was a good kick actually too. Plenty of hang time in that one, but I don't know. They've got to just do something properly here, Canterbury.
Timmy Brown trying to put a shoulder charge on Boston there that went horribly wrong. Not from the point of view of illegal contact, but missed him clean. And then Boston unfortunately makes an error at the end of that. Newtown appealing for a penalty. What's this? Timmy Brown has ended up at 5, Doc.
Yeah, they were blowing up here in Newtown. They thought that the Canterbury guys might have had their hands or a foot in there when Boston got up to play the ball.
He's just put that down and shouldn't have put it down.
Yeah, I agree.
Good to see a lot of the rugby league hierarchy here today at Leichhardt, watching the VB New South Wales Cup Final Series. John Grant, the chairman of the Rugby League Commission, and plenty of other big names. Ian Schubert up there enjoying a bit of hospitality too. Ian's a fan of the New South Wales Cup. That pass was forward from Pumapy to Tapau.
I thought you were going to say he's a fan of hospitality too.
Could be a fair point.
Oh, he is a fan of hospitality.
Pumapy got the pass away. Here go the Dogs this time through Luke McDougall. McDougall away to the winger, who's bundled into touch by a loafer. Goodwin had no room to work in there at all. But McDougall, he looked dangerous here.
Yeah, did well here, Shane Pumapy. Back down the short side. Joel Romolo, good hands here to get this ball away, to take the football in. And McDougall, great little step, Bobcat, back on the inside. But yeah, he gave every opportunity. I think they had a shot at that. They need to score a try, and at least at the right end of the park to make a mistake.
So Mortimer feeding this scrum. Jets loose and feed Tupou. Hasn't he been a handful today? The right winger.
Certainly has. You can see why he's had a bit of an NRL in him, Tupou, and I'm quite sure you're going to see a lot more of NRL around him.
Yeah, I agree. They've sort of got guys like him and Vaiutu that do the job every week. They're dangerous with the football. Big lads.
I thought Vaiutu had one of the best games of a centre in New South Wales Cup that I've seen this year last week. I thought he was outstanding.
They don't necessarily get the raps, is what I'm trying to say, but they very seldom
Nor does this
fail to
bloke.
make a contribution. Oh, he's a good player. I've been rapping him all year, Les. Love his work ethic. So Ahmed now plays it back to Kara, and Josh Alamay. He has been in a good contest with Tapau right throughout this match thus far. That's tackle number 5. Jets on their own side of halfway. Mortimer kicks it just short of the 40-metre line, and that sails on the full down to Trent Cutler, who had himself positioned beautifully. Now Drury low, and he links up with Bryson Goodwin, who loses the ball after the tackle was made, and it was a good tackle too. I think it might have been Tungavay that made the hit. You can see Kara there's got blood streaming down the right-hand side of his face despite the strapping on his head. And Newtown coming downfield.
Again, we see a nice little play there from Drury Lowe. Tungavay came across and just chopped down on Bryson Goodwin, and we see another error in their own half.
Ref went down too. Nguyen ended up on his backside. And
they're killing themselves, Canterbury. They are absolutely killing themselves.
So Newtown, familiar territory. They find themselves on the attack, deep in Canterbury territory. Mortimer, a short ball away to Carney, trying to get himself in the mix. In the centre of the park, Hallertau made a very good tackle on him. 28 points to 6. Kara probing. Back to Daniel Mortimer. He continues, kicks for himself. Not sure where it is. Oh, there it is. It was caught between a Newtown player's legs.
Yeah, ref made the call here that it didn't actually touch his foot, so Kara, nice little footwork there, gave the ball back to Mortimer. He ducks under the tackle of Brown, goes to try and drop the little kick in the end goal, and yeah, the refs called it didn't even touch his foot.
That's a pretty brave call.
Yeah, so
I don't know what those things are on the end of his legs.
I thought he had some contact. Yeah.
Jake Foster is tackled for Canterbury. So the minor premiers and defending champion face a monumental task to get back into this game. With 14 minutes remaining, it's a gargantuan challenge. Tapau.
I just think now you look, 14 minutes to go. Newtown is still burring up in defence. They've got good line speed. They're making contact. This kid's tried hard too all day, Harlan.
He does it every week. Absolutely, every week.
Yep, Alalatauri's been rock solid for Canterbury this season again. And there's Pumapi being upended, Kara and Elaz, who made the tackle initially. So Canterbury now with a decent attacking opportunity. Romolo, well, what was that?
It was going to be a kick for Trent Cutler, but I think he might have thought that Cutler was offside, and I think he caught it out the side of his eye, and he was in two minds when he actually put that kick up, I think. It ended up being a pop gun at any rate.
Yeah, a loafer. Gratefully accepted the footy, and here's Elaz. The game has just slowed down a bit at the moment. Newtown well on top. This is Carney. He's roving in the centre again and looking dangerous. Almost busted them, but Alalatoa was there. And good quick play the ball. Henry, he got the pass away to Bosden. Bosden's now thrown to ground by Martin Tapau. Kara still got the blood there, streaming down the right side of his face. Here he is, Kara, trying to do it on his own. He accepts the tackle of Brown, told to play it on tackle number 5. Their centre field to Mortimer. He goes for the drop goal. It's going to fall well short, and a fair way to the left of the uprights too. So coming back with it now for Canterbury, Drury Lowe was acting like he didn't really want to come back with it too.
I'm not quite sure why he needed a field goal at that stage.
Yeah, I don't know how good my maths is, but I don't know.
Well, you might be fatigued out there.
I think they're all walking a bit at the moment. I just made the comment it's slowed down a bit out there, and it really has. Coming up to the 68th minute mark of this game. If you've just joined our coverage, Canterbury were leading 6-0 5 minutes before half-time. Newtown put on 4 tries in the space of 8 minutes to surge to the lead and haven't looked back since.
Tappy, go back to the 80s. Who does that tackle remind you of? Did you see that around the ankles? Dead set like his Uncle Steve. That was a magnificent tackle on Gavay then from Daniel Mortimer.
He's been everywhere today.
Out of the Archbishop of Canterbury's textbook, eh?
It was.
A pass out wide to Drury Lowe. He doesn't seem to want to take them on, Drury. The last couple of times he's got the footy, he's just stood in one spot.
He might be hurt here.
I think he's cramping up, Bobcat, by the look of that.
So it's tackle number 5. Sorry about my hesitation, I was just checking. And we see a kick now through by Romolo. It's fielded by Pumapi. So Canterbury coming up with something. And a loafer making the tackle. That is a turnover. And the timepiece is getting away from the Bulldogs now.
I think they've run out of time now. I just can't see 20. They need to score 24 points, really, aren't they?
Daniel Tupou away from them again. Gee, I've got to say, some of these Canterbury forwards have had dreadful games in defence. The amount of miss one-on-ones, just terrible. And Bosden has been collected high, I think, by Tim Brown. Yeah, referee Nguyen sees it the same way, so Newtown the beneficiary of the penalty. Here it is again for VB on the replay.
Yeah, around the chops. No malice in it. I think he's just put the grab out, put the big arm out and clocked him around the jaw.
Yep, worthy of a penalty though, nonetheless.
Yep, definitely.
Here's Poon. Back into the action, has been absolutely sensational for the Jets. Bosden got the pass out to Carney, who snatched at it. Possibly had the sun in his eyes.
You know, it's probably been a 15-minute period, Andrew, that they've been on top completely, Newtown, and scored all their points. I mean, they are struggling at the moment as well.
Yeah, and both teams, as we've alluded to many times, they've made huge amounts of errors, but in that 15-minute period, they were just unstoppable.
Here's Gavay. He's been good for Canterbury. He can hold his head high, this man. Has been really good in a lot of the effort areas. Cutler gets them going down the short side. This is Romolo, and he also has some second phase in him. It comes back to Tapau, and Tapau confronted by Kurt Kara. And Francis Vautu. Can the Bulldogs get a try? It's been a long, long time. They scored early in the game and have been scoreless ever since. Another mistake. Well, it's a game that's been punctuated by a plethora of errors in the last 15 minutes.
Yes, it certainly has, and one of their best players to put that football down then, Harlan Alatoa, has picked up that same disease.
Now Carney. Carney being noticeably more involved, and he too makes a mistake. Canterbury comes up with it. This is extraordinary. It's become an absolute mistake-a-thon.
Yeah, it's disappointing for Khan. He's been outstanding today. He's got involved defensively, and there's some strong carries and showed some speed on his try too. So it's disappointing for him.
We saw such a high-quality game last weekend with the Jets and the Bears. It's a bit disappointing. A high tackle that nets a penalty for Canterbury on Alatoa. Andrew Poon just a bit lazy, getting up a touch high.
Bobcat, just a question, and I'm not making excuses. New footballs, are they affected or not? You've played the game in this sort of, especially in September.
Yeah, look, sometimes the footballs with the sweat and the hot day, they can really get away from you, as we see a loafer getting away from the Canterbury defence after another error.
Putting on plenty of footwork and showing his speed. And now he's finally tackled by Cutler. That was bizarre. What's happening there? A loafer now gets to his feet. I guess he was never heard the word held. All the words get off him. Elas.
Again, once again, I don't know. I might be wrong. It might be the arms that are pulling arms away from the ball, if you know what I'm saying, in the tackles. I just don't know, but there's got to be some reason. Neither of these sides have been as bad at any time throughout the season.
Yeah, I expected to come and see this game and have a high-quality game, and unfortunately it hasn't been there with the errors. There's been some fantastic plays on show, but just hasn't been consistent throughout the 80 minutes.
Mortimer, a kick for the corner, which sails into touch on the full, so Daniel will be disappointed with that.
I reckon that's the first error he's made all day. I think he's had an outstanding game once again, Daniel Mortimer. They targeted him early on. Andrew Ryan picked that up on that right side defence. They kept running at him. Two or three players at him at different times. Gervais was having a shot at him, but he certainly wasn't going to give in defence, and I think he's been marvellous in attack.
He's just a goer, isn't he? You know, he's not the biggest player on the field, and he's just in everything. You know, he just has a crack. His support play is outstanding. He's just there. He's everywhere.
Ref called held, and the ball came out, so he'll ask him to play the ball again. This is a replay of it. It's Bryson Goodwin passing to Tapau. So an example of that new rule we see, which everyone has embraced. Here's Tapau in the shadows on the western side of Leichhardt Oval. 74 and a quarter minutes gone in the game, and Newtown will be playing in next weekend's VB New South Wales Cup Grand Final.
Yeah, Terry Rowney's done a great job, hasn't he? The boys at Newtown, they
are the true believers. Yep. Well done to Terry, and Stuart McCarthy does a fantastic job. Operations manager at the club, and their legion of volunteers and supporters. Well done to all of you. Alamay in possession, centre field. And, well, the fairy tale has been written, hasn't it? A Newtown Balmain Grand Final.
Yeah, and I'm not going to declare an allegiance, but I really hope the Jets get up and win this. I really do. I think it'd be great for the game. I think it's great for people that are stuck with a team like this the whole way through, all the highs and lows. And Terry Rowney, innovative things. You see Hoomer here and now succumb to the dropsy fever that's out on the field today. Terry Rowney took the game up to Parks for a weekend.
That's right.
A weekend of footy in Parks. I mean,
that's against Windsor.
Yeah, against Windsor. And mate, all these little innovations that the club comes up with, having cans of KB still at the ground. How good's that?
Absolutely. So Cutler got the short ball away to Gervais. I just can't believe the poor standard that's crept into the match the last 15 or 20 minutes. Here's to Powell searching for the try line, the big Canterbury front rower. And even though it's been exciting by virtue of the crowd here and the atmosphere, there's been a lot of mistakes. And another one. Josh Gill's had a shocker. But to be fair to him, he's not the only one.
No, he's not Robinson Crusoe out there, Andrew.
No, it's just been, they've just been off pretty much from the second minute of the game. I think Canterbury, they've made uncharacteristic errors. Their missed tackles would be through the roof. They've just been all over the shop today. They haven't stopped trying. You know, they're all proud of the club they play for, but they're just errors that have just cruelled them today. And you know, I've said it a fair few times about this Newtown team throughout this season, but one of the most pleasing things from me watching them is guys like Mortimer and Mossy Massoy and these guys who are are genuine first graders, and they've come back in the New South Wales Cup, and their attitude, Justin Carney's the same, their attitude has just been outstanding, and they've led the way for some of these younger guys in the team as well, and it's a great reward for them.
Well said too, mate. And then you go to the other extreme and you look at blokes like...
Here they go again. It's Mortimer. He's got support. It's Kurt Cara. They're coming at him, but he'll get there. Cara and deserves a try too. Well, that's the icing on the cake. Newtown go to the grand final. How good is it?
That is sensational.
The crowd is going crazy.
That is absolutely. And Mortimer once again in the thick of it. Had a great game this afternoon. And you talk about guys getting rewards. Well, blokes like young Mortimer deserve everything they get out of the game because he gives everything 100%. He's a great example to any kid watching this telecast about a bloke that doesn't give up. You can see here Kurt Cara. That's another one of the unsung heroes this year. Kurt Cara, Andrew Pern. You talk about Alamai. Those guys that have just, Ejaz, and Barrett, they've just put in week after week after week for the Newtown side, and they deserve a rap.
You talk about this bloke, it wouldn't matter if he's playing at Suncorp Stadium in front of 50,000, ANZ in front of 80,000, or in his backyard out in the country. He'd just give every single sap that he's got in his body. He just plays with heart and soul every week.
And steers that between the uprights. 34 points to 6. A Balmain Newtown grand final.
It's a promoter's dream, isn't it?
Yeah, to some extent that is certainly true. And that grand final will kick off at 12:05 at ANZ Stadium on Sunday. We'll show you all that info. And when it's full-time here, we'll show you a quick highlights package of the other preliminary final that Balmain Road Eastwood won, defeating Newcastle Knights on its way to the grand final as well. Here's Adam Henry. Got footwork and got speed, Henry. His move into the number 6 jumper has proven to be a bit of a masterstroke by Greg Madison.
Yeah, I hope it continues that way. He hasn't got the best kicking game, and as an alternate kicker to Mortimer, he's not going to be the best of them. But in saying that, Mortimer puts himself all over the park at any rate. Yeah,
well, Little John for much of the season has been the other kicker in the side.
Yeah,
it was named early in the week on an extended bench, but didn't get a look in.
No, that's the end of the season, and probably the game finishes, Andrew, the way it started with a mistake. It's just not been. It's not been the best game as far as handling is concerned.
No, you're spot on, Pete. There has been a lot of errors, and but some of these passages of quality play we've seen today have been so Ewini, and that last 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes before half time was amazing.
Newtown fans rejoicing. They have won the preliminary final, saying goodbye to Canterbury for season 2012. First time they haven't appeared in the grand final for 3 years. 34 played 6. Boston, Carney, Henry. He got 2. Tupou and Cara. Mortimer 5 from 7 with the boot. Cutler, the lone try scorer for Canterbury. And Goodwin, well, he got 1 from 1 as we recap the second half highlights. And there were not that many. There were too many errors.
Andrew Pern there with a great little skip. 1 or 2 heads. Ball across it out the side to Adam Henry, and a good try, good support too from the 5'8". You can see this one, Andrew, that was just a great kick from Mortimer.
Yeah, spot on kick from Mortimer, and Tupou flew above the pack, and Mortimer knocked over a nice little kick here to extend the lead to 28-6.
You watch this one here now, and this was just, I suppose it was just a very tired Canterbury defence, but he still had to do this, didn't he? Mortimer backed up the middle, and Kurt Cara thoroughly deserved that try.
Excellent reward for him.
Here's Fraser.
Adam, first of all, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Tired, man. I'm really tired. But I'm just happy that we managed to get the win, man, especially over here. And I can't say anything, man. I'm just happy.
We've been speaking over the past week about this fact that Newtown starts slowly in games. You definitely didn't do that today, did you?
No, we didn't. We worked on that during the week. It's been a real, I'd say, a key for us that we've started so slow over the past few weeks, especially in these finals, but it's good that we got off to a good start today.
It's been a tough 2 weeks. You've played North Sydney, who finished second, and now the Bulldogs, who finished first. Does that give you a lot of confidence going into the grand final?
Yeah, definitely. We knew playing all of those teams that it was going to be a tough ask, especially out here, where most teams are west as well, but man, we're going to the grand final. Can't believe it.
Near the end of the first half, once Naif Seluini came on, it really added a spark to your side as well.
Yeah, definitely. Nuffy brings a lot of speed and, like you said, spark to the team. He always gets us on the front foot whenever we have a quick play of the ball, so he's pretty vital to this team.
What else do you have to do in the next week to win the New South Wales Cup, do you think?
I guess we just have to play the whole 80, just like we did today. Can't afford to clock off. Just stick to the same routine as we've been doing. You know, train on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just the same old routine, man. Also, can I just make a shout out to my dad? Get well soon.
That's a nice touch. Let's have a quick look at Balmain Right Eastwood and their victory over the Newcastle Knights to advance to the grand final. Played earlier, and we see Newcastle here trying to return the football after a Tigers kick that results in a try.
Yeah, terrible result there for Kevin Nguama. Not quite sure what he's doing. Hoping the ball was going to go dead and it didn't. An easy try here too to put the Knights back in the game. Sean Boss there tackled before the line and a little bit of argy-bargy, but Chris Adams too strong and terrible marker defence from the Balmain side. Too interested in fighting with Sean Boss. You see here the Newcastle side on the attack and a little kick here that goes astray. Foot out there from Nathan Waters and Josh Davis here. I thought he had a clean pair of heels for a moment and a good effort by Mitch Williams there, but just wasn't good enough to make that tackle on Josh Davis, and he managed to carry Chris Adams over. And that was basically the just before half-time that really gave Balmain a good lead.
A recap there, Tigers advancing to the grand final, 2-point winners over Newcastle. And of course in our principal match today, Newtown far too good for Canterbury in what was a very scrappy game. As was the match prior, it's got to be said, so both coaches have got a bit of work to do before they hit the big stage next weekend. And there's the details on screen. Sunday, it all gets underway at 12:05 p.m. You'll see it on the 9 network as part of its grand final day coverage. The Tigers and the Jets, two very famous emblems there. And a reminder to join us tomorrow on Fox Sports, Thursday, September 27, for comprehensive coverage. The Bundy Red Cup Grand Final, featuring the minor premiers, the Entrance Tigers and Wentworthville. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's been enjoyable today, and Pete and Andrew, great to work with you right throughout the season.
Thanks, Tappy. It's been a great year. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks. It's been outstanding. Enjoyed my time.
Appreciate you watching right throughout 2012 on Fox Sports. Good afternoon.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.
Newtown is coming.